El Salvador was one of the first countries in the Americas to grow coffee. It's always been known for producing high-quality beans. The history of coffee in El Salvador really begins in the late 1700s when coffee was brought to the Americas by Europeans. Coffee was mainly grown in El Salvador for local consumption by the Spanish, who were there for indigo. In the 1850s, when artificial dyes hit the market, the Spanish realized that the future was not in indigo, but in coffee. This led to 100 years of servitude on coffee farms for the native Salvadorans. By the 1920s, 90% of El Salvador's exports were coffee. The Great Depression caused coffee prices to spiral to a third of their previous price. Coffee fruit rotted on the trees, and rural unemployment and poverty skyrocketed. In 1932, the people of El Salvador attempted to take their country back, only to be massacred by the Salvadoran military. In the 60s, they tried to form self-help cooperatives, but again, they were met with violence. Then in the 1970s, the United States, fearing a rise in communism, stepped in. They sent in military to stop the guerrilla attacks and advisors to help set in place a new system that named coffee farmers and workers co-owners of the farms and gave them 30 years to pay off the debt. By the 1980s, the nation's wealthiest farm owners had had enough. They launched an all-out war that lasted 12 years and killed over 75,000 people until 1992, when a peace agreement was finally reached. Salvadorans then looked to coffee to rebuild. In the 1990s and early 2000s, low-quality coffee rose in demand, and the market for El Salvador's high-quality beans diminished. It was another big squeeze for the nation, and many Salvadoran farmers were forced to sell their land back to the government in an attempt to pay off the debts. Today, with the rise of specialty coffee, things are beginning to turn a new corner for El Salvador. Family farms and co-ops are creating more jobs, and partnerships between coffee importers, farmers, and processors are working together to tackle some of the region's biggest social issues. This is why coffee matters.